In the late 1500s, the English were confined by Spanish control of North and South America, severely limiting the ability of the English to trade and expand their empire. The Spanish naval forces were considered superior to those of the English, even though the English had longer-range guns and superior ship design. Sir Francis Drake's successful privateering encounters and his circumnavigation of the globe displayed English naval might, which in turn helped shift global power. This created an opportunity for the English Empire to explore new territory and establish new trade routes and partners, further increasing their global presence. In the late 16th century, tensions between the Catholic Spanish Empire and the newly Protestant England were rising. Spain had complete control of the Pacific and most parts of the Atlantic, threatening the fragile peace treaties between England and Spain. Without access to these trade routes, England would remain a backwater. As an attempt to gain some control, England was commissioning privateers and allowing them to attack the Spanish with protection from the English Queen. But the Pacific coast of South America remained firmly in control of the Spanish. The English privateers were no match for the Spanish naval might. Because of this, the huge South American gold and silver mines were off limits to the English. In order to become a global power, the English needed funds to pay off their massive debt that resulted from the Black Death and the costs of the 100-Year War. They needed access to these new global exchange routes. The Spanish had a much larger naval force, even though it contained slower and less armed ships. If England could disrupt Spanish naval dominance, they would be allowed a chance at becoming a global power. At a young age, Drake started working with his second cousin, Sir John Hawkins, a privateer who forcefully and illegally traded with Spanish ports in the Caribbean. Quickly, Drake became a massive success and a fearsome captain. On a raiding and trading mission, several ships owned by the Queen of England had become damaged. They docked at the Spanish port of San Juan de Ulua. In this port, the Viceroy of Mexico, leading a massive fleet, attacked them without warning. Only 2 ships escaped, one of them captained by Drake himself. This pitted Drake forever after against the Spanish. In 1572, Francis Drake made several raids on the town of Nombre de Dios in Panama and attacked mule trains heading across the thin piece of land that connected North and South America. On a scouting mission during these raids, Drake got his first sight of the Pacific. He swore to be the first Englishman to sail in that ocean. After several failed attempts, Drake, the local people, and a French buccaneer captured a huge amount of silver and gold. Stories of these raids traveled quickly to London, and soon the Queen gained interest in Drake's success. On December 13, 1577, with orders to disrupt Spanish trade in the Pacific and a letter of marque, Francis Drake and his crew set sail for the Spanish Main and the west coast of South America aboard 5 ships: the Marigold, the Elizabeth, the Swan, the Christopher, and his flagship, the Pelican, soon to be renamed the Golden Hind. It was a dangerous trip, and by the time he entered the Pacific, only the newly named Golden Hind remained. Drake sailed around to Elizabeth Island, near Cape Horn, claiming it for England and discovering that it was possible to sail around the Tierra del Fuego, something that had never been done before. The Golden Hind preyed on unsuspecting Spanish towns in South America, taking large amounts of silver, gold, and navigational information. After raiding El Callao, Peru's main port, he gained information on a large treasure ship named Nuestra Señora de la Concepción, or as it was commonly known, the Cacafuego. On the 1st of March, 1579, he spotted the Cacafuego in the distance. Drake pushed barrels full of water into the sea, using them as anchors. Soon the Cacafuego turned around and hailed a smaller vessel. Drake was the first user of what would become a favorite tactic of privateers and pirates. He hid most of his crew below deck. The Cacafuego pulled up to the side of the Golden Hind, and the captain of the Cacafuego demanded to know what the Golden Hind wanted. Drake answered that he would only accept surrender. The confused captain was surprised when one of Drake's cannons took out the Cacafuego's main mast, and Drake's crew ran out on deck and boarded the ship. Drake had taken one of the largest privateering prizes ever. It took 6 days to load all the treasure. This encounter with the Cacafuego and Drake's new tactics meant that no Spanish trade route was safe. Drake then sailed up the west coast of North America an unknown distance, far enough north that his crew reported that the meat froze on the way from the oven to the table. Due to unfavorable currents, the cold weather, and a need for repairs, Drake turned around after several months and sailed back down North America to a bay near California or Oregon. The exact location of this bay is unknown, as the voyage is shrouded in secrecy. After tilting the Golden Hind on its side for repairs, he encountered a local tribe of Native Americans. Upon contact, Drake and the people of Nova Albion became great friends and allies. In August, Drake left North America and sailed through the archipelago of the Southern Pacific, pausing to exchange goods at the Java Islands, and then sailing straight through to the Indian Ocean. He sailed back to England via the Cape of Good Hope on the southern tip of Africa, completing the first full circumnavigation of the globe by a non-Spanish explorer. Drake's trading missions had popularized a new kind of warfare, privateering. Spain's old methods of utilizing lone ships carrying treasure were becoming obsolete, as many privateers and pirates were launching their own private wars with Spain. Previously, no Spaniard had expected attack from English ships in the Pacific. Drake's circumnavigation of the globe had proven to young English sailors that every ocean was open for exploration.
So Drake's World Voyage, I think, is one of the greatest voyages, or the greatest voyage in English history. It paved the way for English maritime exploration.
England and other investors had more than a 4,000% return on what they'd invested in Drake, plus new highly detailed maps and paintings representing the coastline of the Spanish Main, materials that were vital towards expanding the rapidly changing navy. Drake's voyage also established a lucrative spice trade with the people of the Java Islands. Drake's quest for maritime power had become an English national obsession. In April of 1587, Drake and a massive crew set out towards the port of Cadiz on the south coast of Spain. In Cadiz, Drake fought for a day and a night, destroying more than 30 Spanish ships, with low casualties among his men. The following year, as Vice Admiral, Drake helped defeat the Spanish Armada, further demonstrating the power of the new and improved English Navy. Over 1/3 of the 160 ships of the Spanish Armada never returned home. Drake had helped forever change the sea powers of the world. Following the defeat of the Spanish Armada, England rapidly set up colonies in eastern North America and the Caribbean. Drake's influence helped England become a major global power by opening up new routes of exchange and exploration that had been closed to them in the past. With territories in North and South America, the New World was now controlled by the English. By the late 16th century, the English Empire controlled colonies in all 4 corners of the earth. Sir Francis Drake's successful journey around the world and his pioneering of deep-sea navigation has served as a powerful example for English people in a variety of fields.
But what he certainly does is to inspire English people with interest after his voyage. Lots of English people want to learn how to navigate.
Drake's successful privateering encounters helped transform England from a backwater into a flourishing global power. His voyage into the Pacific and around the world disrupted Spanish trade and naval might, creating an opportunity for the English to increase the size of their empire and gain access to previously closed routes of exploration and exchange. Drake's circumnavigation of the globe was an important step towards fortifying England's place in maritime history. England's naval might can be seen throughout history in battles like Trafalgar during the Napoleonic Wars and the sinking of the German warship Bismarck during World War II. It remains a major sea power today.